Hello, everybody. Welcome to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Want to extend a very warm Friday welcome to all of you out there. You know what? It's feeling good already up in here in the studio. We got a great show for you today. Excited to be able to bring you guys some more feel good energy. So we'll get right into it. Right now is a great time for you to tag and share the stream. Please, tag and share the stream with folks that you feel could benefit from some amazing Feel Good Friday energy. Also, too, we've been keeping this message alive. Here for us, WA.org, a lot of resources, culturally responsive communication around COVID for those who are looking for COVID resources or are still hesitant about the vaccine. Lots of information is coming out. So honestly, we understand the hesitancy. But if you guys are looking for, some campaigns that have talked to Black community in particular, please check out here for us, WA.org. Department of Health doing a great job with that effort. And we still want to let people know about the free tests. You can still go to covidtest.gov for free tests that will come to your home. Somebody just sent me a communication about maybe it's 2 tests per month where you can now, it's not just maybe 4 tests per household, but maybe you can get them sent to your home every month. So check out that resource. And if you're looking to still protect yourself out there as these mandates get lifted, we're going to see a huge shift right here throughout our state with regard to mask mandates coming up tomorrow, honestly. So you'll probably have less and less of that. And it's funny because for me, as I've been out there, going to different restaurants or different places of business, and they're no longer asking for vaccination cards. They're no longer asking for you to even be masked up. Some people have stopped kind of doing that, in their own right with their private businesses. So I've seen that. They're like, oh, no, it's cool. Oh, no, it's cool. And so it's really on us. It's up to you at this point if you feel safer with your mask on. Like me and my son, when we talked about it, I totally understand that. I think I'll keep the mask for a while. Now I got different colors trying to match my outfit. So it's become a part of an accessory for many of us out there. Want to give a big shout out for culture. They are being intentional again, ensuring that they have resources out there for arts, heritage, and preservation projects. If you know of any artists who, oftentimes their artwork is maybe not funded through other sources, for culture is saying, look, bring those projects our way. We want to make sure that we're injecting some much needed resources into those sectors of arts, preservation, and heritage. So check that out. They're going to be accepting applications until April 20th. So you have some time. But of course, we know that, it's good to get it in now if you can, particularly if you have an idea for a project or already had something on the docket that you wanted to do, but you just still needed funding to see it through. So please, check out For Culture. They're in their intentionality. Also, too, they're really helping with the application process. So I'm excited to be able to talk to TDUB a little bit later about this in the show. But we know about, hey, one application after another. So they're really trying to make sure that you guys have what you need to apply properly and to not feel any barriers or burdens in the application process. I love talking about all these amazing shows coming up. We got Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is going to be at the Pacific Northwest Ballet. They are doing that show from the 20th of March to the 27th of this month. So for 1 week, they are, going to have this show out there. And I'm looking forward to possibly being able to bring my goddaughter, Brooklyn, with me out there. We're trying to make it work with her busy schedule as well as mine. She is a dancer in Northwest Tap Connection, and already Northwest Tap Connection is very intentional. They have their own partnership with Seattle Theater Group, and so honestly, they get to see some shows out there, but this is something that I think I love because Pacific Northwest Ballet is being intentional to really open this up to younger audiences with a narrator. So that kind of helps to move the story along. When I went to go see Romeo and Juliet, there was no narrator, right? And so a lot of that was like, you have to know the story and see it unfold through dance. It is such a different kind of experience, but I was loving every bit of it. So I love that they're doing this effort to ensure that younger people people can come and enjoy it and follow the story. So check that out if you guys are looking to take a young person out there to the Pacific Northwest Ballet. This would be a great one for them to go see. And Alvin Ailey. Alvin Ailey is going to be in the building just for 2 days, you guys, the 26th and the 27th of this month. That is a amazing dance theater. If you guys don't know about Alvin Ailey, such a huge legacy with regard to Black culture and dance and artistry and live performances. And so I'm really looking forward to trying to check that out as well. This is something for me where it's like the moment that we hear about these shows coming, I just get really excited. The ideas of us having such a vibrant opportunities in our city to really experience the arts is key. And for me as a young theater kid, I grew up volunteering at the children's theater over there over at Seattle Center, and just loved every bit of it. That meant that I got to see the shows. And shout out to my friend's mom, the late Miss Betty Lowe, Tanya Lowe, for you out there. We were out there, at almost every show, volunteering, doing ushering work, passing out programs, and it allowed me to really get a full, extensive view of how these shows are put together. So I really do have a love for all of this live performances that we get to see right here. So you guys, get your tickets now, because I'm sure there's going to be a rush for Alvin Ailey with it only being here for 2 days. We also, I can't wait to really, maybe even on Monday, I'll get to dive in a little bit with Omari, because he and Besa went to go see Blue on Wednesday night. I wasn't here yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to tap in with them, but an amazing opera. Last days are today and tomorrow. So please check out Blue if you guys haven't already. I mean, I've been hearing so much about this in the Black community in particular, because Tazewell Thompson, the writer and director of this show, really put so much powerful messaging in the programming. And he's doing these Q&As after the show where you can really hear his intentionality, his backstory behind why it was so important for him to ensure that these messages were alive and well. And for me, the great thing was that, look, these were messages that were happening in a predominantly white audience when you're talking about the opera. And so very profound show. I can't wait to kind of hear Omari's perspective on the show and tap in with Besa, see what she thought about it as well. Because so many people I know that have gone just love it, and they're constantly recommending it. So I just encourage you guys, check out Blue before it's done this weekend. And this is, last thing before we go to break, this is a beautiful campaign. We've been talking about the Beloved campaign here on Converge Media. And, they did something that was beautiful with roses. Check this out.
What's up, everybody? This is Eric Calligraphy, the co-founder, co-creator, and creative director of the Beloved King County campaign. Welcome to 206 Liminal Studios for the Roses and Collage Interactive Art Activation. There's 1,500 roses here, a rose for every shot fired last year. We have hung these roses up in remembrance of some of the people we lost, and some of the people that have been injured, and all the people that were in danger of a shot fired. Roses are beautiful, man. Roses are an act of kindness, an act of love, and you can give a rose to somebody at any time, it'll make them smile. Now, can you imagine that if every shot fired was an actual positive interaction between 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, instead of ducking a gunshot, you were getting a rose to say that you're amazing. And that's what this activation is about. The Beloved campaign is an anti-gun violence campaign where we are shifting the narrative of how we deal with gun violence. We usually talk about gun violence as a criminal action or a charge, but we are looking at it more as a disease, as a sickness that we can get better from if we use the proper medication.
Wow. Amazing. You know what? I just got to send a special shout out to everybody who is involved in the Beloved campaign. So many of our amazing folks from community are really pouring into that effort. And I love that they are showcasing it. They said, look, we're going to be doing this in a different way. We're going to be talking about how we heal in a different way. And those 1,500 roses they're representing, those gunshots representing something that we would normally attribute to like a negative emotion. For us to see those beautiful roses designed in that way. TDUB was just saying, look, I was there. So we're going to dive into that after the break. So you guys know, after this break, we got our girl, the art queen here at Converge. TDUB is coming up to the set after this. We're going to be diving into, of course, the things that are happening in artistry and community, as well as a little sneak peek of Art of the Matter. So you guys stay tuned after this short break. You're watching Feel Good Friday. Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you too can walk out with some dope gear.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Welcome back, everybody, to Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. And of course, we got the ever-coordinated art queen on the set, T-Dub. What's up, T-Dub?
What's going on, Trae? Happy Feel Good Friday. Looking good, feeling good.
Yeah, looking good. I love the message on your shirt there. Have fun.
Have fun.
Oh, boy, oh, Birdo.
This
Come
is a
on,
classic.
man.
I have to bring the vintage out today, you know.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Seattle.
I'm here for it all day
Absolutely.
long. All day. And, you know, we got to just...
Oh, yeah. Real quick.
The black violin socks are on
the
deck.
socks. Well, shout out to Black Violin. That was an amazing show. Oh my gosh.
We didn't even get a chance to really dive into that. That was just last Friday, right?
Yeah, 2 Live.
Oh, it was 2 Live crew.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to say, special shout out to that team. I know it was only one night only, but they really paid homage to some of our elders in community.
That was a beautiful moment.
They said, you know what? We want to integrate this into our show. I love that piece where they were just like, we're going to freestyle.
Yeah.
And we do this in every city, but this one's for you, Seattle. And particularly this one's for those elders that were mentioned. They called out their names, Dr. Mims. They called out my grandmother because they were both celebrating their birthdays. And also Miss Patricia Valentine and Mona Terry.
Yes.
Shout out to you guys again. It was phenomenal.
It really was. Shout out to the elders, man. Thank y'all for paving the way.
You know what? It was a great thing too, because I started my day with you on Friday.
Right.
We were at Black Violin together, even though I didn't see you there, but we know we were in the building.
Yep.
Then we ended the night all the way right at
Communion, man. I'm like,
late night.
Yes, that was that was a beautiful Friday, and I'm so happy that I get to like start my Fridays with you, and it just really like sets the tone for the day. Honestly, I like if you're not tuning in to Feel Good Friday every Friday and getting your day right, I don't know what you're doing because it's live over here.
It's always live. And you know, I'm telling you, like the elders in the building with that music that was getting played.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my grandma was like, oh, geez. I said, Grams, don't worry. This is only on Friday nights. It's for the younger crowd, but you're here to enjoy yourself. And she so did. You know, of course, Dr. Mims was rocking to the beat. It was just great to be there with everybody. And really, communion is always a space where you're destined to see somebody, you know.
The
I mean, that's just what it
intergenerational
is.
turn up is real.
Yeah,
Yes. Love
yeah.
that place.
I loved it. Great Friday last week. So you guys get to hear about our whole recap. But TDUB, you're constantly out here in community. You got some things you're bringing to us this week as well. We get to dive in about this artist, Perri Rhoden. Tell us.
Yes. So VMC's own Perri Rhoden, who is an amazing artist born and raised in Seattle, just opened her latest exhibition called Release at the VMC Gallery actually last night. So we just opened last night. We were there. People were coming through and seeing her amazing art, and she really like did an amazing job just like installing the whole space. So just a little backstory: the VMC Gallery was actually donated to the collective by Molly Moons of Molly Moons Ice Cream. She saw us out there painting the mural on the street. She appreciated what we did, and she actually gave us space. So thank you to Molly Moons for that. And so since then, we've been activating the space as a gallery. And Perri's show, which is just opened last night, is our 4th show. And I think we have a little clip of Perri Rhoden.
I feel like not just me, but a lot of people, specifically Black people, have had to carry so much weight, so much shit, in more or less words. And I'm realizing that, like, in the midst of the last 2 years, personally, that's been a lot of grief, a lot of pain, or me having to like work through my own personal development, and that like could be a long list of things. But in the midst of it all, I've had to find my own joy, and so through that discovery, I've worked through that like
Wow. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. When you talk to artists, you hear the inspiration behind the vision, you know, because when you're just walking through, sometimes you're just experiencing it for your own self. But to hear exactly what the inspiration is, that's always got to mean something, not only to me, but to you, TDUB, as an artist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this particular show that Perri put together called Release is about the process of grief and the stages of grief that you go through and that we've been going through the pandemic, particularly from the Black female perspective, and finding joy at the end of that tunnel. You know what I mean? And it can be so difficult, but that process is a real thing. And she's depicting through art, through multimedia art, what that process looks like for her. So, I mean, being able to share that part of yourself, that depth of yourself, you know, in that way, it's just always inspiring. So shout out to Perri for that.
Yeah, shout out to Perri for that. Let's put that flyer up so people know how they can check in with this show if you have it, Salman. There it is. Absolutely. Right there. Yeah. Perri looks great in that photo.
Yeah,
by the
she's
way.
killing the game. She's killing the game.
I was like, there we go. Get it, girl.
Yeah.
I love it. There it is. March. It's still on.
Yeah, last night. So we do public openings for Capitol Hill Art Walk. So March 10th and I believe April 14th will be the next public opening. But you can hit up Perri directly if you want to do a private viewing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. I'll give a double shout out there to Molly Moons. It's needed, right?
Yeah.
When we understand how those spaces make our city better.
Absolutely.
They make our city great. And, you know, I got to say, as I was just telling you, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know about some of these things happening in community. So thank you for always opening my eyes to it. You know, a couple Fridays ago, you talked about the Fry Museum. And you talked about this amazing show there. And honestly, I'm a fan of Chris Jordan and his brother, Will Jordan. So I had to go check it out. But I will say that it was so inspiring. Like the inverted paintings. I mean, when you were describing it, I was like, what?
I knew my words weren't doing it justice. You just have to go see it. Honestly, it's next level.
It's next level. And it is so it's so genius, to be honest. It's like pure genius. Seriously. You know, I was thinking, okay, what does that process look like? You must know exactly what each one of these colors is going to look like inverted.
Right.
And so then you paint with that in mind. Like, okay, this actually equals that. This equals that. Right. So I'm going to just go ahead and do my thing based on that. But the idea is that it's interactive in that way and really allows the audience to be drawn in is a whole nother thing.
It's a whole nother thing. And it really, like, this is proof positive that young Black artists are changing the game around what it looks like to experience art in the gallery setting. You know, like having a piece that people can actually touch is unprecedented. You know what I mean? Having pieces that are inverted in the color form, unprecedented. Nobody's doing that, but we're changing the game in that way. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man.
I felt like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
So I had to give you a shout out for
Yeah.
opening my eyes to what's going on out there in community. And,
Absolutely.
you know, as always, you got more. There's a whole nother. Yeah, tell us about Joey Nix.
Yeah, so 2022 TDUB is going to be outside. I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to do everything. And I want to give a huge shout out to all of my creatives, anybody who's creating space for people to experience and understand things and release things and commune about things. Like super shout out to y'all. But this next clip, the next photo that we actually have is Joey Nix, my bro Joey Nix, my partner in crime on the VMC BLM mural. He was the other person that helped us organize that whole situation. So he actually did a show recently called Hold On. And it's actually opening this evening to the public this Friday tonight. So if you're down in the Belltown area, 2301 First Ave is the address. He will be there. You can see his latest works. Joey is so dope. He is like one of the dopest painters. Spray paint, oil, you name it. He's doing it really, really tight. And he's just an amazing human being. And so I just wanted to give Joey a shout out in that regard. So yeah. And the show Hold On is basically talking about the idea of like, giving things pause. Like we've been going through a lot. Like we don't have to try to like get back to normal so quickly. Like just take a moment, take a breath, you know, and really just feel what's going on right now. So it's just, man, folks is out here doing it, man.
You know, folks are doing it, but art is just so unique in that way.
Yeah.
Right. Where it has the opportunity to really take something that we're all experiencing.
Right.
But then give it its own personal twist and spin.
Sure.
And, you know, now you're always giving me reasons to get outside. I'll tell you that right now, like to just be out here in our community, to experience what our artists are doing, because it's one of a kind work. Like you were just talking about these things that are unprecedented. But I feel that way with all art because it has that unique background and perspective, always that personalization of the story that really funnels it all.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, this really brings me to Pig Cayetano. I mean, you know,
man.
last episode, this past Monday,
right,
Art of the Matter, episode 4, you know, I know that people in Belize probably are just like, man, this guy's a legend. And you got to be there with him. I mean, we both did, but you got to really connect with them. And, you know, the episode was amazing, T-Dub.
It really was. And I'm so... it's bittersweet for me because this is my last bit of Belize footage. And this is my last opportunity to just like go back and take a stroll down memory lane through these shows. So that was my second Belize episode, my final Belize episode. We're going to be bringing Art of the Matter back to the States for the rest of the season. But yeah, Mr. Penn, like legendary artist, you know, like Punta Rock, like he does all of these things. And, you know, just being able to sit like with him in his space and get to just hear him speak at all was just like phenomenal because, and you'll notice like with the episode 3 of Kevin, he's like a much younger artist. I had to ask him a lot of questions, right? With Penn, I just sat there and listened, you know, just sat there and listened, just soak up all that game, soak up all that knowledge because he studied the masters and he became a master in his own right because of that. So yeah.
Well, it definitely says a lot about the growth of artistry, right? The ways that lived experience plays out in artistry.
Absolutely.
So you can see that, you know, when I love how you just made that dichotomy between a younger artist and somebody who's just more seasoned.
Yeah.
They, you know, have more lived experience. And honestly, he had so many great stories to tell. It was great for you to just be able to sit there and listen.
To sit. I was completely content just sitting there and listening to him talk. Like it was just great.
Yeah, we were on the sidelines like the other queens of Converge, you know, Jules, Besa, and myself, and we were on the sidelines and we were just like, man, he's over there dropping gems. Because we were looking at your face and you're like, man.
I was starstruck, honestly, but it was awesome. And I can't wait to go back to Belize. Thank you, Mr. Penn Cayetano. Thank you, Kevin Morales. Thank you, Alaska Airlines. Thank you, Ministry of Tourism Belize, for an amazing, again, the journey of a lifetime. So
it really was. I mean, I know we have so much more in the vault.
I'm so excited
to all the stuff that we captured a lot down there. And, you know, we have more coming, I'm sure,
we do.
You know, a lot more. So you now have episode 5 about to be coming. I mean, the show is flowing. Every other Monday,
rolling, baby.
you're keeping it going.
Yeah.
Tell us about what we can expect for episode 5 of Art of the Matter.
Absolutely. So we getting the promo started early on this one. Episode 5 actually features Mr. Joey Nix. So the art of industry is the one, what I'm calling this one. And again, Joey, comes from a background of industry. His parents owned a tugboat. He has this sort of like industrial sort of upbringing. He grew up around, industry and machinery and that sort of like beginning of industry. When you think about America, you think about the Industrial Revolution and how that changed the way that we became a society, right? His upbringing is that, and he shows that through his art. And he, invites people to just like take a moment to understand, like these things made us who we are. So we have to revere them in a way, and I think he does it in such a beautiful way. So we'll get to talk to Joey. We got to catch up with him, obviously, at his show, Hold On. We go to his bar. He owns the Jupiter Bar in Belltown as well, which is the arcade bar down there. Really, really fun art space. And we got to, chop it up with him, talk about Hold On, talk about art, talk about the last couple of years as a business owner, what that's been like for him. And talk about, of course, like the mural, like he was a part of that as well. So we talked about that and, just catching up, man. Love Joey.
Well, this is going to be really great. I mean, honestly, the exciting thing for me is that there is such a juxtaposition between you being a business owner during this pandemic,
right,
as well as an artist. So I'm sure that stuff comes through and Hold On in that exhibition. This is for me, I think, I've said it before, but I think it's so important. Artistry also is such an example of history.
Yes.
And when you go back and you look at certain exhibits, you look at certain pieces, even individually, they speak to a zeitgeist.
Yes.
Right. They speak to the sign of the times.
Yes.
And ultimately, to hear that, you probably are, it's an amazing episode coming up for 5 because that is something that I think is unique in nature too, for Joey to be able to experience that, particularly in an area that really experienced the pandemic hard hit,
huge
downtown
change.
Seattle,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're used to so much foot traffic,
right?
And then it's complete crickets.
Ghost town. Yeah.
And so many of our businesses had to deal with that.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So you get to dive into that with Joey.
We dive into that with Joey, episode 5, March 21st.
March 21st.
Yeah.
Coming up, TDUB, as always, amazing.
Thank you
for being, thank you for getting outside,
we outside
and being out here in
man.
community, because
I try to do it.
I think that I'm learning through your experiences, and I can't thank you enough for that. I don't get to go to every single thing, but the ones I do go to, I'm like, TDUB was on the money with this. I'm like, TDUB was on the money. Okay.
Yeah.
She's not steering us wrong.
I never that. I do want to, before I get off the TV, I want to say happy birthday to my baby, Kayla Bailey. It's her birthday this weekend, so we're going to be celebrating the Gutter Queen this weekend. So I just wanted to say really quick, thank you, babe. I love you. Happy birthday.
Give that love.
Yes.
I'm here for it all day long.
Absolutely.
TDUB, as always, an honor and a pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys, see, TDUB always gets the ball rolling. Okay. All the good energies up in here. We're going to continue that because we have another artist coming up who, when I tell you, oh my gosh, his pedigree is huge, it's large, his impact in community is effervescent. We got Coach Giggz coming up after this short break. You guys, I get to dive into his career, what he's been doing, how he's been inspiring these young dancers all throughout King County. He's phenomenal. Can't wait to dive in. Right after this short break, you're watching Feel Good Friday. Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear. Hey, it's already rocking and rolling up in here. And you know we got to get the dance moves flowing. We got Coach Giggz in the building. What's up, Coach
What's
Giggz?
happening, Trae? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm actually really blessed. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm well. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm healthy. You can't ask for more, right?
You know what? You're bringing feel goodness up in here. You're
Okay.
continuing that from
Thank you.
TDUB.
Thank you.
You know what? It's a beautiful thing to be connected the ways that people are connected in community.
Absolutely.
I've known you for decades.
Yes.
I feel like, okay, so it's been almost, that was what, 2000? That was like 2002?
Yeah.
Or something?
Because we was at
ER Solutions or
Solutions,
something.
and I was working there
Yeah.
just to pay for prom.
Yeah,
So,
see?
and that was my second job. I was there and at Fred Meyer.
Yeah, and then I went to Fred Meyer. That's so funny.
my
After that,
gosh.
so you
Okay.
know what? It's just crazy because when we talk about community connections, y'all, we're serious here about that.
Already. Yes.
And you were dancing back then. I mean, you
Yes.
were already dancing. So tell us a little bit about your background and what got you to where you are today. Because I mean, your impact right now is just huge.
Thank you. Well, my background, I was born in Compton, California. I was raised in Chickasha, Oklahoma. I grew up here in Seattle, Washington. I ended up coming here because, I got to that age where everybody's like, oh, it's time for you to be raised by a man. And my dad was here. So I got here, hated it. Just because I wanted, no kid want to be ripped away from what they know, right? And so I don't know, but as life kept going, I ended up going to Cleveland and met my best friend Dwayne Jackson, and he was starting a dance team, and the rest was history. And then one day I was just wanting to get out and explore the city. I was kind of new here. And I just got on the bus. I was like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't even know how to catch a bus. Chickasha, Oklahoma did not have buses. We could literally walk anywhere in the city, right? Or the town. So I got on the bus. I was like, I'm gonna just go and just figure out. And so a girl got on the bus. Her name was Dominique Fields. She went to Renton with me at the time. And I was like, where you going? And she was like, oh, I'm going to this thing called Bubbling Brown. And that changed my life. That was like year 2002. And it changed my life. That was the year that Franklin did like 9/11 tribute. So they all had on red, white, and blue. And they did this huge star that moved. And like Bubbling Brown birthed Coach Giggz.
Wow.
And that's crazy. Because now, 15 years later, Kun Love brings back Bubbling Brown. And he brings me on the board to help bring it back. The same thing that birthed me, to be honest. So like you said, full circle.
Full circle indeed.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think you can't get from people that don't have those kind of ties to what this city offers, right?
Yes.
And so, maybe you started and you're like, what am I doing here? But you really found your footing. And I gotta say, y'all don't even know, like literally, even in the halls of ER Solutions, he'd be over here doing dance moves. And people would be like, do that dance, do that.
Dancing, like, what's so funny? So I always say, like, kids grow up watching cartoons, right? And with me, like even in elementary school, early middle school, my friends used to make money during lunch because we would bet people $2 to go to the candy store. Like they could not name a video that I did not know the dance to. So I didn't grow up watching cartoons. I grew up watching MTV, BET, VH1, just learning. That's when I used to have to record it on VHS. And thank God when the slow motion came out on the VCRs, it made learning choreography so much better. I was like, yes. So, that's just me. I've always been, you see me walking down the street, you see me at a bus stop. Child, I'm busting a move.
You're busting a move.
I'm busting a move.
You are. And you know what? This is a great thing because you didn't just keep that for yourself, right? You
Absolutely.
literally have like really self-taught, trained. And then really you were like, look, there's something I need to do for other people. Tell us about that kind of the birth of, Kutt'N'Up and like all of these now amazing dancers that have gone through just working with you as a coach. You really have earned that title.
Thank you. Well, just to start off, let me just shout out everyone that has been a part of Kutt'N'Up. And we're going in 2024, we would have hit our 20-year reunion. Wow. And so there's that's so much history, So I want to just say thank you to everyone who has made this past 18 years. Jeez. This 18 years, what it is for me, for Kutt'N'Up, for everybody that's going to come into Kutt'N'Up, for the city. Because when it comes to like Black experiences, that's all Kutt'N'Up do, to be honest. Like, that's all we do. Like, we love it. And it just teaches just so much about like your natural hair. You know what I'm saying? Like how you can come in a space, especially in dance, and everybody look like you, like you can be thick, you can be slim, you can be dark skinned, you can have pimples, and I just walking into my studio, walking into my space, you're going to feel beautiful. I'm going to do my best to make sure you feel beautiful inside and out, whether it's a young man or a young woman, because I just feel like we don't get enough of that, growing up, like just people in the community just making us feel beautiful.
Yeah.
And
it really is that. And you can tell that the dancers have that on them, right?
Yes.
Like it through everything, every performance I've ever seen of Kutt'N'Up. These young folks are giving 110%. Yeah. I mean, they are like
they
killing
better.
It, right?
they better.
I mean, so tell us, because you're like, okay, I love dance.
Right.
I'm doing it myself.
Right.
Then you go, wait a minute, there's young people out here that need this too.
Yes.
What was the birth of Kutt'N'Up?
All right, so just like my best friend, like I said, I had met him at Cleveland. He was starting a dance team. We started a dance team together called As One, which was interesting because Zach Bruce, if we know Zach Bruce, definitely a pioneer in Seattle. He also had a band called As One, so we was like, okay, we can't walk around using two names. I don't even know if Zach know that, but honestly, I got tired of being double booked because when I was in high school, people didn't look at dance like a sport. It was just like, oh, that's dance. And it's like, first of all, y'all basketball players, y'all football players, y'all wrestlers could not do what we do, like straight up. You know what I'm saying? So I was pushing Cleveland to make dance a sport, and they just wasn't budging, but we always got the lower end of the stick. Like if it was space double book, we had to be outside in the rain under the coverings of Cleveland. So I was like, I got tired of it. And I was like, you know what? Let me figure something out. So I went to Rainier Beach Community Center and I was like, can I have dance practice here? And Martha was like, yeah, if you teach a class. And I like, that's literally how it all became a thing. Right. And so I moved we didn't even have a name then, but I moved it out of Cleveland High School and moved it into Rainier Beach Community Center. Now, one last little part. So my senior year, I got expelled from Renton High School. Listen, but that's honestly what happens when you don't have parental, support. So I didn't have no parents my high school years. My mom was, I believe she was incarcerated, and my dad had just, moved back to California, and so I was just out here. But honestly, let me just say to y'all, if you got parents in high school, or in school period, your presence as a parent is everything, because there's no way they would have gotten over on me like that if I had parents to speak up for me, you know? And we even had a hearing. When I got to the hearing on time, they had it an hour before. And so I didn't have no say so.
Wow.
And they were like, we wanted to have the meeting without you because you're always talking your way out of stuff. And there was nobody to advocate for me. And I didn't know. I know now, and I teach my kid and all my dancers how important it is to advocate for themselves, just in those spaces where your mama can't get to you, because we Black families. So, you know, a lot of us is single parent households that they at work. We can't always get off work and rush to school. So teaching my dancers how to advocate for themselves. So going back, so I got expelled from Renton High School my senior year, like maybe a month before graduation. They said I had senioritis. So the next year, they would not let me come back to coach Renton, even though we had went to Bubbling Brown that year, won second place. Like, I was finna put Renton on the map.
Right.
Okay. And so I just went to Cleveland. My best friend then was a senior. And so I just helped him with the dance team. But that left Renton without a dance team who had just won second place at Bubbling Brown since the 90s.
Wow.
So all the dancers would either catch the bus or get ride from their parents to Cleveland to be a part of the Cleveland dance team, because the rule back then is if your school didn't have a dance team, you could be a part of another school. So then we were considered Renton Cleveland dance team. Then we went to Bubbling Brown again, and we won first place.
Wow.
And the year after that, Bubbling Brown or Garfield, I love you, Nikita Love, but yeah, it was you, would not let us compete again because they called us a super team because we have more than one schools. And in that course of that year, from winning first place to the upcoming year, we was starting to like Seattle was starting to know who we was. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Kutt'N'Up became. Like it started as Renton Cleveland dance team due to me being expelled from Renton. And then we moved it out of Cleveland, moved it into Rainier Beach due to them not loving us how I felt like we deserved to be loved. And then the name, we were at a show in Tacoma. Me and my best friend was trying to think of a name. We were watching a VHS of the show. And we could not see the person, but whoever was right next to the camera person was saying like, oh, them kids is cutting up. They are cutting up. Like, now that's just a Southern slang for everybody that don't know. And it could mean like you gigging, or it could mean you being bad. Right. You know, where I'm from in Chickasha, like if you cutting up, you're going to either get a whooping or you're going to get a couple dollars. Right. Okay? Depending on. So, and we just looked at each other and was like, that's it. Cutting up. That's it. And 18 years later.
I mean, boom, a real legacy right here. And I'm just getting chills as you're telling the story because I didn't know all of these details, but that is why I love, having Black owned media, because we can actually dive into all of this and give that inspiration to everybody out there. Like that's really what it's about. I mean, you're talking about 18 years. You guys have changed again. I have seen y'all doing your own videos, y'all doing all types of community events out here. I love that. I've been able to book y'all for some of it.
Absolutely. And thank you for that.
Come on now. Every time y'all kill it. Every time. No, we got to get our budget, because you guys are beyond what you are ever being compensated for. You're beyond that. But really it is the consistency, I think, which is so key. We talk about programs popping in and out of young people's lives. And the idea is that what we need in this city are real staples. This is an institution. That's what Kutt'N'Up has really become in the city, is an institution for young folks who are seeking to explore that side of dance. We love the fact that there's a multitude. We got Northwest Tap, we got Kutt'N'Up, we got multiple different ranges, but everybody does their thing, right? And the beautiful thing is that you really created a space and you carved out a space for young people to be able to really explore that. When we talk about the nuances of hip hop and R&B and how we see it in videos. Your creativity is above the charts. Tell us about your process, because I've seen you guys do some phenomenal stuff. I'm like, how did he even think of that?
I know. My process. So, I guess the first thing is I always want to stay true to who I am for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I say that, I just really mean like black, like hella black. Can I say that? Can I say hella?
Absolutely.
All right. And because we've been in spaces to where they were like, oh, you guys should dance more intricate, or you guys should dance more this and dance more that. And I'm like, yo, but all those things that you're telling us, those are styles.
Yeah.
So you want me to change my style. And then you go to these things like Monsters of Hip Hop and World of Dance, and most of the judges are non-black.
Yeah.
Judging hip hop competitions.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to anybody?
Right.
Somebody tell me. Okay. So my process, one, like I said, is just always just staying true to that. And staying true to me and where I'm from, being from Oklahoma. Like, I grew up on bass music. So that's why, like, the foundation of Kutt'N'Up is like, let's drop it low.
Yeah.
Let's get it. You know, let's cut up. And then when I first moved here, people was making me feel like, and this is before the term twerk got big, but people was making me feel like that wasn't okay, you know, but that's where I'm from. That's all I knew, you know, is Daisy Dukes and Uncle Luke, 69 Boys, bass, you know? And so I started taking African dance with Miss Afua. And that taught me that I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all is twerking more than I twerk. The difference is y'all doing it to drums and I do it to hip hop music. But then that just gave me that, once again, it was another level of, or another place and space in my life that elevated me to just completely be comfortable in my blackness.
I love that.
You know? And so that's the first thing, like all that when my process. And then I always want to know who I'm performing for, you know? So if I do a Pride event, we gonna throw some Vogue in there. We gonna throw some J setting in there. We gonna throw some Vogue music in there. Our costumes is gonna reflect. So when people watch us, they're gonna feel, watching us, they're gonna feel like they identify.
Yeah.
And that is a huge secreted ingredient to Kutt'N'Up.
I love it.
Whichever audience is watching us, they're gonna identify with us no matter where they from and what color they are.
You're so right. And this takes me to the clip that you're shared, because, you know, TDUB told us about this show. TDUB's like, oh my gosh, I'm in this show, you know, and Coach Giggz is putting it together. We actually got a beautiful clip of you with your team right here. Talk about all the way with it. You were out there as Mary J. Okay, I just loved it. And I'm telling you, that walk move, I saw that on the thing. I said, oh, we got to pull this clip out. You know, we couldn't get struck. So only 15 seconds, y'all. But you got to see a little bit there of you really being in your element. When you talk about putting on a drag show and then you come out like that.
Yes.
I mean, with your dancers,
yes.
That is another way that you're like, look, I'm specific about the audience I'm with, right?
Yes.
I love that. I loved it, all of it. So, you know, shout out to you for bringing these amazing experiences out to our community, for being a real true coach to these kids. I mean, I have heard from kids that have really gone through your program that are like, man, look, he gonna make us work, but he love us, and we know that love, like it's coming from love. And so, you know, I can't wait to touch more base with you as you have events coming up. Make sure we know about them over here, because we will make sure we do what we can to get people out to support Kutt'N'Up, to support you.
Yes, and that's all we asking for, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as we've been in a community, we just asking for the community to continue, like y'all been, to continue to show it for us, because I can't remember the last Kutt'N'Up show that wasn't sold out. So thank you, 253-206-425. Like, we really love y'all for real.
Oh my gosh. If people are trying to connect with Kutt'N'Up, they may have a young dancer who's looking for this opportunity. They may want to follow you so that they can just be sure that they are supporting. Tell them right there how they do that.
You can find us on Instagram at Team Kutt'N'Up. That's TEAMKUTTNUP. You can find us on Facebook at In the Cut. Our studio is in Des Moines. It's called In the Cut, the letter N, THEKUTT. That's also our website, inthecut.com. So we all over the place. You can Google us. Let me say this real quick, because I don't know if you've seen it, because I heard you and TDUB talking about episodes. So we did come out with our own web special on YouTube. So that's also a really good place to see what we do and what we're about. And yeah, some dope stuff coming up.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Well, okay, you know, I may not have all the moves, but I'm telling you right now, we may have to have a Trae holiday special. I'm gonna have to come in with Kutt'N'Up. I'm ready to do some moves.
Hey, I can teach you how to Dougie.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, it's on. It's gonna be on and popping. Love you so much. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What y'all doing is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we all play our part here, and you guys know I'm always inspired. You guys heard this entire story right here from Coach Giggz himself. You know, please take it in, be inspired. Check out Kutt'N'Up. They are doing some phenomenal shows out in our community and really showcasing love for the culture. And I love it because it is definitely all the way Black. And he explained that today and explained to us the inspiration behind their passion. So you guys, after this short break, we're going to be coming back with my girl, Besa Gordon. We're going to be hearing about the Rewind with Besa after this short break. Yeah, there it is right there. You guys stay tuned. You're watching Feel Good Friday.
Ariana.
Hi, this is Robert Battle, Artistic Director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, and we're thrilled to be performing live on stage again. Come see the extraordinary Ailey dancers during my 10th anniversary season and enjoy some wonderful new work, plus returning audience favorites, including Revelation.
Hey there, it's Trae Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
Besa Gordon here. Happy Friday. Of course, it is time for another episode of Rewind with Besa. And check this out. This week we have another episode of Besa Goes to Vegas. This one features the homie Mookie. Okay, he actually is from Cali. Ended up growing up in Portland and now he lives in Vegas. So of course we have to talk all about his new project. We have to talk about why he ended up moving to Portland and a few other things. So definitely stay tuned for that episode. It's about 10 minutes and of course it'll be right after our completed rewind of what's recently been going on. And speaking of what's going on, we gotta talk about these events, okay? Tonight there is actually going to be an Afro Beats party at Red Lounge. Actually, every single Friday night there is an Afro Beats party at Red Lounge, okay? The homie DJ named Ram puts those on and they are a vibe. I've actually shown you guys some video clips before from when I did go to Red Lounge, and if you guys don't remember, it was definitely a vibe. Ladies are free all night. Don't say I did not warn you, because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going, but I'm actually thinking about pulling up. I'm working on an event that's going to be out in the next couple weeks. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is because I'm waiting for the flyer. Once the flyer is out, I will post it on my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So make sure you're following me at Besa Gordon, so that way you know what the event is. But just know it is coming, and some of you actually probably do know what it is because you've been asking for me to do it for a while. So stay tuned for that. Now, of course, we have to talk about blue, and yes, my hair is blue. I don't know why, I just felt like doing blue hair today. Anywho, I ended up going to see Blue on Tuesday, and it was actually really, really good. I'm not gonna front, I don't know a lot of people that have actually passed away due to gun violence, so when it comes to things like this, it doesn't necessarily affect me as much. The most gun violence that I've experienced in my life is when I'm watching the news. So going to a play like this, it's not something that is very emotionally triggering for someone like myself, but it definitely was a play that kept my attention, and I really, really enjoyed it. I will say, and I'm not gonna give it away, but the ending, and it's like the last 5 to 10 minutes of the play, that part almost took me out. That part almost took me out. However, me and my lashes, we were still intact and we was a-okay. So look, if you haven't seen Blue, it is still going to be showing at McCall Hall. It'll be showing tonight and tomorrow. So don't sit here and wait till the last minute. This is literally an all-black opera. And for me, I've never been to an opera. So for my first opera to be an all-black opera was just absolutely epic. And other things that's going on, the homie Papa Black is actually bringing Sada Baby to town on April 9th. Alvin Alley American Dance Theater, I think I said that correctly. That's going to be in town March 26th and 27th at the Paramount Theater. Oh, and I almost forgot about the Candlebar event that I've been telling you guys about. So look, this is happening on April 16th. It'll be downtown at South Lake Union. It'll be downtown in South Lake Union. This is going to be a really, really dope event, you guys. I'm super excited about it because this particular event is kind of like a paint and sip, but you're actually making candles. And if you have not heard of Black Sunflower, I'm gonna need you to get your life together, okay? Her candles are amazing. She actually has some new wick candles that are going to be coming out. And when I say wick, I mean it has like the little wooden wick rather than like the, I don't know, like the rope that's usually in the candle. I don't know, I don't make candles, y'all. But she has these new wooden ones, and I have one of her prototypes, and it smells so freaking good, okay? So if you guys like candles, you definitely want to, 1, come to this candle bar, 2, 1, buy some candles, 2, check out the vendors, and 3, learn how to make candles, because if you've ever been to a paint and sip, this is basically the same thing, but it's a candle sip while you vibe out, because the homie Yachty is going to be mixing the music, and I will be your host for the night. All right, you guys, that's all that I have for this week's events, okay? Make sure you stay tuned for the full Rewind with Besa, where of course we go into my interview with the homie Mookie for episode 2 of Besa Goes to Vegas.
Oh my goodness, Besa always keeping us on point with all the information, events, and things popping off. Thank you so much, Besa, for all the work you put into the Rewind. We love being able to air it right here on Feel Good Friday. It is such a great addition to all the feel good energy we had going on here in the studio and today. And I just got to send a special shout out to our guest for the day, TDUB, of course, and our brother right here in community, Coach Giggz, was out here doing it amazing, just giving us his backstory. And honestly, I can't wait for the next time that they have a performance, because he is right. It sells out, but it sells out for good reason, because they like give their whole soul to every performance they do, and it really showcases their talent and their dedication. So glad that we were able to have those guests on today. You guys, a couple of things in community, an update, because we've been talking about House Bill 1827, supposed to be redirecting some of the cannabis revenue into certain areas around business and Blackness. And so there was a passing of that. So it looks like $200 million will be directed into programming for this year. And in 2023 and 2024, $100 million for each one of those years. It will have to be voted on, but the idea is that there will be an earmark there for them to be able to know that it needs to happen, right? So another thing that is a great celebration. Shout out to everybody who was so integral in that effort. I think, our state representatives definitely heard from a lot of community members regarding that. And, I'll be working to bring you guys more community updates on Feel Good Fridays, because we have so many different amazing things happening in community. And this is a great space to be able to share those things with you. Of course, this weekend, looks like Weird at Night is going to be on a hiatus. They're going to be taking a break this weekend, but they will be back next weekend. For those of you who have tuned in, you guys got to see me and Omari were part of the show last week. It was an amazing time. And I love being able to be there with our friends over at Weird at Night. So not tomorrow night, but definitely next Saturday, you guys can check them out. And also on Sunday, of course, we are getting truly unruly with the True Fonts at 7 p.m. right here on Converge Media, anywhere that you are finding this broadcast right here. You guys, please, if you can't watch us always look up for us on podcasts, anywhere that you find podcasts, okay? So I want to make sure you guys remember that, because all of our shows are now really being broadcast through audio. Shout out to all of the folks that are helping to make that happen. Appreciate that, because everybody can't always watch us. Even though, if you're watching, you get to also see the amazing outfits, especially when TDUB comes on Fridays. So I will that you guys all have had a great week, and that we've got your Friday starting off well with all this feel good energy. I am so excited to be back in the studio with my co-host Big O on Monday. Please always be inspired to see yourself as a part of the solution, you guys. It's so imperative, because all of us need to hear from you out there. The more that we bring our voices to these amazing ventures and new initiatives and create new initiatives through our own ideas, the better our society is. So with that, I want to say, as Big O would say, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace.